Drug companies are being sued by patients who took medications containing valsartan. Instead of helping to control high blood pressure, the drugs actually cause many of them to develop cancer. Madeline Penley, attorney Madeline Penley, is here to join me now to talk about this. Maddie, first of all, what's the underlying problem here?
So the underlying problem is valsartan, which is a generic drug. It was pulled from the market because it was contaminated with a highly carcinogenic compound known as NDMA.
NDMA, people are going to start hearing more and more about NDMA because and now we learn that it's in so many different medications.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So NDMA, it's extremely dangerous. So the only reason it's even used today is in laboratory studies. So they actually inject animals with NDMA in order to see how tumors develop. So there's no question it's carcinogenic, and it's actually extremely good at facilitating tumor development. Anywhere it's injected will develop a tumor.
Okay, so the only purpose that we use it for on the market in the United States is to cause cancer in laboratory animals.
Exactly.
And with valsartan, we know that it's in valsartan. It's being created, produced inside the medication itself. And so what went wrong? What happened here? Was it contamination of some kind or what?
It's basically a manufacturing defect, and this happened, long story short, because these companies cared more about making money than making a drug that was safe. So we have two main groups of defendants, to keep it simple. API manufacturers, they make the active pharmaceutical ingredient, valsartan, and finished dose manufacturers who bought that product. Basically, our main API manufacturer is a Chinese manufacturer called ZHP. ZHP had been making valsartan for years with no issue at all, and that's important. But in order to save money, they decided to change the manufacturing process, switch from process 1 to process 2. When they did that, they used cheaper materials. They can make more drugs more quickly. So it's just to make money, and that process too is what facilitated NDMA in the drug.
So you're suing these Chinese companies in the United States.
Yes.
And you're going to be able to hold them accountable with that case.
Yes, and we have a ton of internal documents, things they were saying to each other when they thought nobody was looking. Test results they had early on that shows that they did know about this issue and just didn't tell anybody.
Well, okay, so this Chinese company knows they're shipping tons of this stuff to the United States and all around the world for that matter.
Right.
They already know it's contaminated.
Yes.
There's not any question. Yeah, we know it's contaminated. They're trying to say to the world public, don't worry about it. It's not enough. You're going to be okay. That is the biggest lie they could possibly tell, isn't it?
Right, and they knew it was contaminated, and they actually had testing results that show things that they were referring to as ghost peaks. So this is probably grossly oversimplified, but they have chromatography testing. It's like shows little bumps. And so they know where these bumps should be in baseline clean valsartan.
Yeah.
They did testing after the process 2 switch and saw these huge peaks.
And you've seen them.
I've seen them, and the emails discussing them, like, what is in this drug? This is so strange. And instead of looking into it and doing the testing they're supposed to do, they chalked it up to ghost peaks. It's a weird testing error, and continued to sell it.
Well, okay, there again, the FDA, of course, to me, is one of the laziest institutions we have in the United States.
Right.
They're either owned by corporate America. Corporate America, time and time again, the drug companies just do whatever they want to do with the FDA. The FDA didn't do much here, did they?
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
They actually approved this process switch for ZHP because ZHP told them it was a minor change, so that they didn't have to go through the more stringent regulatory requirements, and the FDA just kind of took them at their word and let them do it.
Okay, tell us how this NDMA operates. I mean, first of all, it's a carcinogen by itself.
Right.
But then when a person takes this valsartan, the NDMA is moving through their system, but they're also doing things like eating bacon, which is huge, eating smoked fish. Explain that a little bit.
So NDMA, is in this drug anyway, like you said, but if people are on a high nitrate diet, if the drug is exposed to heat and humidity, whether it's inside the body or out, all of those things can lead to higher levels of NDMA in the drug.
Any question that this Chinese company knew that? In your mind?
No, I mean, to be fair, at the beginning, they didn't know it was NDMA because they didn't want to know it was NDMA.
They were hiding.
But as soon as somebody raised the flag, they knew and kept their mouth shut.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me. Good luck on this case. It's an important one.
Thank you.